HIMS and Hers Health is the good stock for the long term. Let's analyze it together. Read the disclaimer right here in the video description below. Also join us, NST, the most popular stocks of the US market and the European market as well. We're gonna analyze the fundamentals, the technicals, and also insider trading, a new section that we have where we're gonna study, the corporate events in terms of, the people that are working there, placing sells and buys. It's very interesting area. So in order to assess if it's a good stock for the long term, we gotta actually analyze the support level that we have right here. It's a very long-term support level that started back in February 2024. And we're approaching the area, of $30, which is a very important area because normally if we follow this trend, they should buy, for the long term here, which is a critical area. So in order to assess if it's a good area or not, we gotta analyze the fundamentals. And the first area is the net income. So the net income actually is the last earnings were actually very, very good. We're talking about 15 million of net income in September 2025. But if we study this with the previous year, with the previous month, September 2024, it's very dramatic, because the drop is from $75 million to 15, and actually it's worse than the previous ones. And we're approaching these levels that were seen back in March 2024, June 2024 quarters. So not very good, but still, this could be temporary, maybe just a bad quarter, and the next one are gonna be good. So we gotta go to the forecast in order to assess if that could happen. So what we can gather here, we have 12 analysts from Wall Street covering the stock, and the average of them think the stock should go up more than 38%, I'm sorry. And the most optimistic analyst thinks the stock should go up more than 144%. And the most pessimistic one, only minus 13% from crude levels. So probably the worst has already passed because, or maybe just one quarter, back quarter is remaining. And from there, it's gonna go out to, good levels again. So the last quarter here, the fourth quarter of 2024, we're talking about an estimate of 0.04, which is a little bit worse than the current one that has been recently released. So obviously this is not good, for the short term. We could still see the price dropping a little bit. Probably it's already, doing that because we are going into that direction. And when these earnings are released, a different story could be done from this level, maybe a little bit early, because the anticipation is key, and they're already anticipating what's going to happen, which is the next bad earnings. But after that, maybe just before the earnings or after the earnings, they could place these buys. It's very important because the forecast is good for the next ones. We're talking about an estimate of 0.16 and then 16 again. And in annual, it's a completely different story. It's like, okay, 2025 is not going to be a good year. It's going to be a very similar one in comparison to 2024. But the next years, with expectations are very high, and this is important. So now we're gonna see exactly the insider trading because this is what's happening right now. But what about the insider trading that we have with directors and chief executives and so on for the company? We're gonna take a look at it, which is very, very interesting. And what we can see here is, wow, this is very surprising actually, because we're talking about, we're gonna go to this section now. We're talking about all sales around the last year. They were placing a lot of sales. That's huge. We're talking about the chief financial officer, OQP, and the chief legal officer, Bogton. So very important people placing huge sales. So the key question here is like, okay, should I be worried about that? Because normally this is not good. These planned sales are not good at all. And the percentages, the number of shares are huge, minus 14%, and minus 15% from the current portfolio they have, minus 26%. This is huge. So this is not positive at all, So we're gonna see exactly if it's a good idea to enter your position at this particular point. And the theory here is like, we're gonna go back to the chart and we're gonna see exactly why. Because what I have here is like some of the reasons that they are selling the orders, and interestingly, there are some pre-arranged trading plans that were actually very anticipated, back in 2024. So bolt-on sales, for instance, was under the plan, a 10B51 plan established in August 2024. So that was a long time ago. And then OQP sales was under another plan, very similar, the same plan actually. And it was adopted in May 2021, May 21st, 2025. So using such plans is a common method for executives to sell shares without violating insider trading rules, especially when their company's stock has increased significantly. Still, I don't like it, because okay, they are doing this because they planned it 1 year ago, but still, for me, this is just what they say, but it's like still they are selling shares. So if they thought they could increase the price even more and more and more, they wouldn't sell that much. In Nvidia, for instance, they sell shares, but not that much. Not in those quantities. We already saw the chart before, which is insane. And it's we're talking about a lot of shares being sold in such a short period of time. Still, this is what they say. The personal financials, is like CEO, large sale via trust suggests it may be for diversification, tax planning, philanthropic purposes, or other personal reasons. So this is what they say. You have to obviously analyze if they are telling the truth or not. And then we have capitalizing on share price appreciation. This is for me the theory that it makes more sense. It's like I'm selling because the price action went so high that it is a good time to do it. Actually, if you compare the price action to previous years, it makes sense completely because the rally in some cases is more than 1,000%. If you see 1,000% in such a short period of time, that's pretty good. It's a good time to sell the stock around these levels, obviously, because they got, they have these sales. These shares from so many years ago, so now they're selling at the top and they're getting essentially 1,000%, and then they can buy the stock at the bottom, which is very clever. So the key question is like, is it a bad stock to pick? In terms of fundamentals, I don't think so. Maybe then this quarter and the next quarter, they're not good. They're not good. The next one is not gonna be good, but after that, that could be a different story. And this is important because if for the long term they're gonna increase the EPS and they're gonna make new highs in the EPS, definitely it's a good one for the long term. But we have to maybe wait a little bit. One key area is the $30 area. From that point, they could buy the stock and they could create a new rally. So we have to wait and see what happens. So what do you think about this one? Do you think it's a good one for the long term? Do you think it's just a trap and it's better just to get the hell out of here? Leave your comments below and see you in the next video, Trading ST.